You think your thoughts are helping you, but what if they're the prison you've been trying to escape? Right now, in this very moment, your mind is doing what it always does: planning, analyzing, replaying conversations that already ended, rehearsing scenarios that haven't happened yet, trying to figure out how to control what comes next. You believe that if you just think hard enough, worry enough, prepare enough, you'll finally feel safe. But you don't. The tighter you grip, the more anxious you become, like trying to hold smoke, like trying to possess the wind. And so, you keep searching for the answer, the method, the breakthrough that will finally give you peace. But Alan Watts, the philosopher who spent his life translating the wisdom of the East for Western minds, understood something most of us miss. The very act of trying to control your life is what keeps you trapped. The search for security creates insecurity. The attempt to hold on is what makes everything slip away. The more you try to control your life, the more your life will slip through your fingers. Today, we invite ourselves to stop wrestling with reality and discover what happens when you simply let go. By the end of this reflection, you may discover that the peace you've been chasing was never meant to be caught. It was meant to be released. Let's start with the truth you already know, but keep forgetting. You are exhausted, not just physically tired, mentally, emotionally drained from the constant effort of trying to manage every detail of your existence. You wake up, and immediately the thoughts begin their familiar march. What do I need to do today? What if this goes wrong? What did they mean by that? How can I fix this? Your mind becomes a war room. You become the general, strategizing, defending, always on alert. But here's what no one tells you. The war is with yourself. You're not fighting external enemies. You're fighting your own need to control the uncontrollable. You're boxing shadows. Alan Watts called this living in your head. You become so consumed with thinking about life that you forget to actually live it. You're like someone watching a movie of their own existence, always one step removed, always analyzing, never fully here. And the cruel irony? The more you try to control your thoughts, the louder they become. The more you resist feeling anxious, the more anxiety shows up. What you resist persists. What you try to control controls you. Can you feel it right now? That subtle tension in your chest, that background hum of mental chatter? That's the weight of trying to hold the ocean in your hands. So why do we do this? Why do we grip so tightly? Fear. Deep down, we believe that if we're not constantly vigilant, constantly managing, constantly preparing, something terrible will happen. We'll be rejected. We'll fail. We'll be exposed as inadequate. And so, we build walls of thoughts around ourselves, categorizing everything into safe and unsafe, good and bad, right and wrong. We label our experiences before we even experience them. You wake up feeling off, and the mind immediately jumps in. This is going to be a bad day. Someone doesn't text back, and you create a story. They're mad at me. I did something wrong. You have a dream, and before you even start, the mind calculates, what if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? These labels, these categories, they give us a false sense of control. If I can define it, I can manage it. If I can predict it, I can protect myself from it. But life doesn't work that way. Life is wild, unpredictable, uncontrollable, a river that refuses to be dammed. And no amount of mental gymnastics will change that. Alan Watts understood this deeply. He said, "Trying to define yourself is like trying to bite your own teeth. You can't step outside of life to control it, because you are life. You are the wave trying to control the ocean. You are the breath trying to capture air. You can't hold water by making a fist. You can only let it flow through your open hand. So, what's the answer? Let go. Not forever, not all at once. Just for this moment. Stop searching. Stop trying to become something more. Stop attempting to fix yourself like you're a broken machine. Instead, start releasing the grip. Start trusting that you don't need to control everything to be okay. This is not passivity. This is not giving up. This is the most radical act of courage there is. To live without the armor of control. To move through life with open hands instead of clenched fists. Let me show you. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a breath. Now, bring to mind one thought that's been haunting you. Maybe it's a worry about the future. Maybe it's a regret from the past. Maybe it's a story you keep telling yourself about who you are or what you lack. Got it? Good. Now don't try to change it. Don't analyze it. Don't push it away. Just notice it. See it like a cloud passing through the sky of your awareness. You are not the cloud. You are the sky. The thought is just weather, temporary, passing, not solid. Ask yourself, am I this thought, or am I the one noticing the thought? Feel the difference. You are not your anxiety. You are the awareness that knows anxiety is present. You are not your fear. You are the space in which fear arises and dissolves, like the ocean beneath the waves, vast, still, untouched. Now, imagine opening your hand and letting that thought float away, not fighting it, not fixing it, just releasing it. Let go. What's left? Silence, space, presence. This is what Alan Watts meant. You stop identifying with the noise and start resting as the silence beneath it. Let's bring this into your everyday life, because philosophy means nothing if it doesn't change how you actually move through the world. Think about your relationships. Someone says something that bothers you. Your mind immediately creates a narrative. They always do this. They don't respect me. I need to set them straight. And suddenly, you're not present with the person in front of you. You're lost in your story about them. You're shadowboxing again. But what if you paused? What if, instead of categorizing and controlling, you simply observed your reaction? You notice the irritation rising. You feel it in your body, heat in your chest, tension in your jaw. And instead of acting on it, instead of needing to change the other person, you let it be. You breathe. You soften. You let go. This doesn't mean you become a doormat. It means you respond from clarity instead of reactivity. You stop trying to control how others behave and start noticing how you respond. And in that noticing, you find freedom. You find that the other person was never your prison. Your need to control them was. The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. Now, think about the future. How much mental energy do you spend worrying about what hasn't happened yet, planning for scenarios that may never occur, trying to control outcomes that are fundamentally uncertain? Alan Watts was blunt about this. The future is a concept. It doesn't exist. There's only now. And yet, we live as if the future is more real than the present. We sacrifice this moment, the only moment we actually have, for an imaginary version of life that exists only in our heads. We trade the bird in our hand for two in an invisible bush. Here's a practice. The next time your mind spirals into future anxiety, bring yourself back to a physical sensation. Feel your feet on the ground. Notice your breath moving in and out. Touch something. The cool surface of a table, the warmth of your own skin, and really feel its texture. These simple acts pull you out of the mental prison and anchor you in reality, because reality is never as overwhelming as the stories we tell about it. The present moment, stripped of commentary, is always manageable. It's always just this breath, just this step, just this heartbeat. It's the layers of thought, the what-ifs and should-haves that suffocate us. Let go. Here's the paradox Alan Watts loved to point out. The moment you stop trying to control your life starts working. Not because you're magically in charge now, but because you've stopped fighting. You've stopped treating life like an opponent to be defeated. When you release the need to manage every outcome, you become fluid. You adapt, you flow, you stop being rigid and start being resilient. Think of water. Water doesn't control where it goes. It doesn't resist obstacles. It simply moves around them, over them, through them. And yet over time, water shapes mountains, not through force, but through surrender, not by gripping, but by flowing. This is the art of letting go. You don't become weak, you become unstoppable, because you're no longer wasting energy fighting what is. You're dancing with it instead. You are not separate from life, trying to control it from the outside. You are life itself, unfolding in real time. You are the river and the water and the journey all at once. So let me ask you something. What's one thing you've been trying to control that you could release today? Maybe it's how someone sees you. Maybe it's the outcome of a situation. Maybe it's the belief that you need to have it all figured out. What if you let it go? Not forever, just for today, just for this breath. See what happens. See if your shoulders drop. See if your breath deepens. See if, for just a second, you feel lighter, like setting down a stone you've been carrying for miles without realizing it. Because that lightness, that's who you really are beneath all the control. That's the you that existed before you learned to grip so tightly. That's the sky beneath the clouds. Alan Watts spent his life trying to wake people up from the trance of control. He knew that most suffering comes from this one misunderstanding, the belief that we can secure ourselves against life. But you can't. Life is insecure by nature, and that's not a flaw. That's its beauty. That's what makes the flower precious, that it blooms and fades. That's what makes this moment sacred, that it will never come again. When you stop demanding certainty, you start experiencing wonder. When you stop needing to define everything, you start seeing things as they are. When you stop controlling, you start living. You are an aperture through which the universe is looking at and exploring itself. You are not a problem to be solved. You are an experience to be had. And when you realize that, everything shifts. The anxiety softens. The need to grip loosens. And you discover that the peace you were searching for was always here, waiting for you to stop running toward it. If this reflection landed for you, if you felt even a moment of release, share this with someone still caught in the grip. Like a subscription, these aren't just metrics, they're ripples. They help this message reach others who haven't yet realized they can stop fighting. We're not building an audience, we're building a sanctuary, and you're part of it. Now take one more breath and let go, even if just for this moment. The shadows fade when you stop trying to fight them. The ocean was always beneath the waves. The sky was always behind the clouds, and you were always free. You just forgot to open your hand